This is a walk round of the Diamond Trailed Sprayer. This model is 3,000 litres and has a 12-24 metre boom. I'll start at the front and we'll talk about the self-track drawbar. The self-track drawbar is a self-contained tracking drawbar. It requires no electricity, no hydraulic power from the tractor whatsoever, but works purely on geometry. The central pivot point is key. That central pivot point needs to be, as it says, central between the trail sprayer axle and the tractor axle. We ensure that it is central using the mounting holes on the front yoke of the drawbar, and by just taking a measurement when we first initially set up the machine. Then what happens is, because that pivot point is central, the sprayer automatically tracks and follows the tractor rear wheels. The hydraulic cylinders you see here are purely a damping system to control unnecessary and unwanted movement. We're moving oil from one cylinder to the cylinder on the other side of the drawbar, and that's controlled via a gas accumulator system at the top of the sprayer walkway there. So self-contained, self-tracking, simple tracking drawbar, but very reliable, very robust, no complicated sensors, potentiometers required. As you can see, it mounts onto the tractor linkage. That gives you fantastic ground clearance under the sprayer itself, far higher than the bottom of the tractor itself. The pump is a 260 litre per minute piston diaphragm pump. It primes itself, can run it dry, and has more than enough capacity for most farming jobs, even if you're applying liquid fertiliser. Liquid fertiliser is perfectly capable of being applied through this machine. The controls, very simple control layout. Often we're asked what our sprayers will not do. The answer is nothing that the competition will do. It's just our controls are very simple because we're using this multi-port control valves. The bottom valve that you see is to control suction. So where the pump is sucking from, it either sucks from the main tank to spray, it sucks from the additional clean water tank, which is literally below that valve there, 300 litres of clean water for when you're washing or rinsing, and then in the final position it will suck via the self-fill connection to suck in from an external source. The top valve controls pressure. This is where the pump is pumping to. It's either pumping obviously to the spray lines, the spray nozzles to spray, to the bottom position, which is the spinning nozzles inside the tank for rinsing and flushing, and to the induction hopper, which is the top position, and then the left hand position is fast fill. So there's a short hose directly into the main spray tank. So when you're filling liquid, that's the fastest way to fill the sprayer. You may have noticed the machine has a dry sight gauge, so that works on a float system, so it doesn't get contaminated with pesticide and get discoloured, and you always have a fairly accurate idea of what's in the main tank. You can also see we have a very accessible platform and plenty of area on here to safely reach the top of the tank should you need to get into the top of the tank for cleaning purposes. Two spray gauges. The big spray gauge is for spray pressure. The small spray gauge is for our Ramsey control unit. We're still using a Ramsey air pressure control unit. Fantastic way to control spray pressure. Works as a pressure relief valve as well. Separate emergency clean water, 15 litres of hand wash water should you need in an emergency. Down the sprayer, side of the sprayer, you see stainless steel induction hopper, 25 litres. That is on a rise and fall bracket and can be raised and lowered into a working position. Now it's down in its working position. Obviously there's a multiple choice of sprayer wheels. The machine has axle suspension, hydraulic brakes. It also comes as standard with stainless steel spray lines. There are 19mm ID stainless steel spray line. It also comes with circulation, auto circulation, prime and purge. And this machine can also work as 12 meters. Or if you remove this bolt-in section and replace the brake back tip, that boom becomes 20 meters. So a very, very versatile machine. Triplet nozzle bodies are an option, but a popular option, as are 844 automatic dose rate controller. Again, another popular option, but the machine is available without should you require. The paintwork, it's all a powder coat paint, a 2-pack powder coat paint, which is baked onto the machine. The steelwork of this machine gets a 3-year warranty. So we warrant our booms for 3 years. Road lights, warning triangles are all standard. Here is your pressure filter and the small compressor in the grey box for the air control unit. You can also see the axle suspension. And there is the air control unit. The 2 big gas accumulators you see above the air control unit, they are for the boom bounce suspension. So they're controlling boom bounce. We also control boom yaw via this beam, and obviously boom incline via the big springs and shock absorbers. So all boom movements are very well controlled, and traditionally, I'm sure you're aware, GEM sprayers are very famous for their boom suspension. The boom itself, every moving joint has either a replaceable bearing, or it will have bushes. All the pins are tabbed. You can see that pin there is tabbed, as are pins. Those pins are also tabbed. Grease nipples everywhere as well. Mud guards adjustable depending on the wheel size and the wheel width that you set. The design and shape of the tank controls liquid movement. So although polyethylene tanks do not have baffles, the shape of the pods, as the liquid moves in the tank, is dispersed into the pods and controls vicious movement forwards or backwards. And there we have clean clothing lockers to store all your clean clothing and gloves, etc. At the front here we have one connection plug to connect the sprayer to the control box, and then we have storage points to safely store all your hydraulics and brakes and lighting plugs, so they're not dragging in the ground when not in use. Here we have the control layer in the cab. This machine has an 844E automatic dosage controller. Here is selection of power on off, boom section control for unfold to 12 meters, unfold to 24 meters, and boom tilt via electro-hydraulic double diverters. So 2 double acting spools are required from the tractor. The double acting spools are then on the sprayer itself. This one controls your air pressure via the compressor that we saw on the back of the sprayer. To turn on the 844, press the P button. That information you see there is purely software information. The main on-off switch is here, section switches. There you will see your application rate, speed, pressure, how many litres you have used, and how many hectares you have left to treat with the remaining amount in the sprayer itself. To program your application rate, you press the Pro button twice, and then adjust your application rate required via the plus and minus button till you get what you require.